In this video, we'll be looking at using environmental campaigning to influence change on the issues that matter to you. We'll hear from two inspirational young people who were part of the Scottish Youth Parliament's Pack It Up, Pack It In campaign, a national campaign to reduce pollution levels which contribute to climate change. They'll be looking at how to build an effective campaign and sharing some of their hints and tips for effective campaigning.
My name is Martin Carroll, MSYP. I'm member of the Scottish Youth Parliament for Aberdeen Donside. I have blonde hair, I'm wearing glasses, and I'm wearing a blue hooded sweatshirt.
Hi there, everyone. My name is Jack Bell, MSYP. I'm the MSYP for Perthshire South and Kinrossshire. I have brown hair and I am wearing a burgundy shirt at the moment. In this workshop, we're going to think about effective campaigns that have influenced change. We'll also talk about how to build an effective campaign and share some of our tips for campaigning. So let's just get stuck in right away.
To start with, we would like you to think of a well-known campaign on an important issue. Write it down on a piece of paper or on your device and try to remember the answer to the following two questions. What did it aim to achieve? And was it successful? And if it was successful, why?
Campaigns can come in all shapes and sizes, but ultimately, what a campaign aims to do is to change something. For SYP, it's really important to recognise that even the smallest action can contribute to a huge change. And the more people who are involved in taking small actions, the louder the collective voice can be.
To design SYP campaigns, we use the Think, Plan, Do, Review cycle. First, we need to think. What is the actual issue you want to address? Next, we create a plan. How are you going to run an effective campaign for the problem you want to solve? Then, we do. What activities are best placed to achieve your objectives? And what do you need to do to make these activities happen? We always review throughout the process. How will you keep track of how your campaign is progressing?
As this is a cycle, when we've reviewed our campaign's progress, we go back to the start of the cycle to think about any other issues or actions that we need to take and to then plan and do them. Campaigning is an ongoing process, and we think it's really important to go through all of these steps to help us make our campaigns as effective as possible. For any campaign to be effective, you first need to know what it is you're trying to change. But we can't tackle a problem if we don't know why it's a problem, as there are often underlying issues, so in order to make a real change, we need to identify the root cause of the problem you want to address. We're going to use a problem tree to break down this process. If you can, draw out a tree on your piece of paper. And think of an issue that you would like to campaign on, and write it in the middle of your problem tree. Write the effects of this issue in the branches of the problem tree. What does this problem look like? What's the impact of the problem? Finally, write the causes of this issue in the roots at the bottom of the tree. So why does the problem exist, and what makes the problem a problem? This activity can be a great way to start thinking about issues, as sometimes the thing you want to change is actually the result of something bigger. It might work out that to change the thing that you want to change, there's another issue that you need to tackle first.
So now you've drawn your problem tree, we're going to show you an example we've prepared in advance. The issue we've identified is that there's too much litter in our communities. We've written this in the middle of the tree. The effects of this issue are, it makes our streets look dirty, it can put people off spending time outside, it can attract rodents which spread diseases, it is damaging to the environment, and if some people see that an area is dirty, it can make them think it's okay to drop litter. There are lots of other effects of dropping litter. Can you think of any more to add to our tree? There are lots of things that can cause this issue as well. The examples we've come up with are, in some areas there aren't enough bins, or the bins that there aren't secure, so it's really easy for litter to overflow or to blow out in the wind. In some areas, there also aren't many recycling facilities, so general waste bins get too full of too much rubbish that could otherwise be recycled. Some people might not understand the negative impact that littering can have, while sadly other people might not care. And like we said before, if some people see that an area has litter, it can make them think it's okay to drop litter. Again, there are lots of other things that can cause littering. Can you think of anything else to add to the roots of our tree?
Our next task is to think about what action could be taken to try and tackle your chosen issue. At SYP, we try to take action on both a national and a local level during our campaign cycle, but you might want to think more locally if this is the first campaign you've run, or if you're doing it by yourself. If you think of a national level action, write it around the branches at the top of your problem tree. If you think the action is a local grassroots action, write it in the space around the roots at the bottom of your problem tree. This activity helps us to think about the actions we could take to make change. It's a great way to get all of the ideas down on paper. After you've made a note of all your action ideas, you can use them to work out a timeline, what needs to happen when, and what resources you would need to help you carry out your campaign.
Once we've worked out the actions we want to take, we would next go on to thinking about who our campaign allies are. These are the people we want to get involved in helping our campaign, both locally and nationally. Unfortunately, we don't have the time to do this today, but please bear this in mind when you're planning your own campaigns. The more people involved in a campaign, the louder your voice will be, and the easier it is to spread the load.
Well done everyone for all of your brilliant work in this session. We don't have time to develop our campaigns any further today, but I hope you learned a few helpful tips for the future. We'll close off with some final SYP tips for campaigning.
Adapt what is already available. Don't reinvent the wheel. Are there any existing campaigns or groups working on the issues you've identified? You could start by getting in touch with them to find out how you can get involved in their work.
Make it positive. Focus on why change is positive, rather than negatively campaigning by criticizing or using aggressive tactics.
Take small steps. Campaigning is rarely a straight line and can take longer than you expect to make big change. Celebrate the small wins and pause along the way to take stock of where you're at and where you need to go next to reach your overall goal.
Think local. Don't try to change the world. Focus on a single issue or small changes which will contribute to the overall big picture.
Don't go it alone. Successful campaigns are rarely won by individuals. The more people are involved, the more voices there are to amplify your key messages and to delegate tasks to.
Involve everyone. It's really important to make sure that the people who are affected by the problems you've identified are involved at all stages of the planning and delivery of a campaign. This will make it much more powerful.
Think outside the box. Be creative and use the resources you have available to you. You don't need a huge budget or even any budget to influence change.
And finally, keep smiling. Effecting change can be hard. If you're not enjoying your approach, take a step back and work out how you can change it so that you start to enjoy it again.
We hope this video has inspired you to consider getting involved in an existing campaign or setting up your own. You'll find lots of great resources on the SYP website and on their YouTube channel, where you'll find more inspirational ideas from their Unpacked Eco Festival.